Shavua Tov, a good Woch, and welcome to our program. Shabbos morning we're at the Parsha Vayigash, and Shabbos to Mincha we started the Parsha of Vaychi. We find that there is a certain dichotomy, arguably, between the Parsha and the Haftarah. If we open up in the Parsha, Vayigash Elov Yehudo, we're dealing with Yehudo and Yosef, and who is greater from the two, Yehuda or Yosef? So from the Parsha it seems that Yosef was the one who was greater, if we can use that term, because it says Vayigash Elov Yehudo. Yehudo is the one who approached Yosef. Yosef is not the one who approached Yehudo. Now, when we look in the Haftarah, we see that's a little different, because in the Haftarah it says Ve'avdi David nosi aleim le'el umelech echad yeh lekulam. There is going to be one king. First it starts Kach lecho eitz echad. You're talking about, and on one wood you would write Yehuda, on the other one you would write Yisrael, and then v'hoyo le'achodim biyodecha. They're going to be united in your hand. Nevertheless, after that it says Ve'avdi David melech aleim le'el melech aleim v'nei echad yeh lekulam. That it's David who was going to be the king, not the king from the Shivtei Yisrael, the king from Shevet Yehuda of David. And after that it says again, David Avdi Nosi Lohem Le'elom. So when we look at the Parsha, it seems that Yosef has the overhand, because Yehuda is the one who approached Yosef. Nevertheless, in the Haftarah we see that it's Yehuda who has the overhand, that the one who is going to be the king will be David Avdi, that comes from Yehuda. Or the explanation of the Rebbe that even on the Parsha we see the advantage of Yehuda. We will return to that in a moment, but first, our customary story. This is a story that happened with a Jew this Erev Chanukah, this year. Told me the story in detail. He was preparing Chanukah with a lot of details of Chanukah, of who is going to light the menorah, which day, and so on, what kind of activities they're going to do. And he was a little stressed. So the day before Chanukah, he wrote a letter to the Rebbe. And before he wrote to the Rebbe, he said, Rebbe, I need a specific answer, because I'm stressed, I'm a little weak, I need your blessing. Put in the letter to Igris Kedesh. And the Rebbe answers him. When was the date that he put it in? Erev Chanukah, Chof Dalet Kislev. And the Rebbe answers him, Michtovei Mechov Dalet Kislev Niskabel. Your letter of Chov Dalet Kislev, the day that he wrote, Niskabel was accepted. He says after that, Baruch Hashem, he saw great Hatzloche in all inyonim of Chanukah, and the Rebbe's blessing came through completely. Rabbi say, I also heard lately that there's talk about a story that Rabbi Yael used to frequent. It's a story that Rabbi Yael liked. There were certain stories he liked, and he would tell them from time to time in his own special way, with all the details and with a special smile and the special way he expressed them. So this is the story, the way Rabbi Yael told the story. The story was about a Jew whose name was Itche Itkin. Itche Itkin learned in Lubavitch, but later he went to Israel and he became a chalutz. Rabbi Shmuel, when he would talk about that, he would say he became a chalaputz. But that's a separate story. Rabbi Yael did not mention that. Became a chalutz, and little by little he went off to Bislach, little by little. When the previous Rebbe came to Israel, Tofresh Peites, 1929, he was already a little far. But he knows the Rebbe is here, and the Rebbe is staying in Yerushalayim. But he was embarrassed to go in and see the Rebbe. Yes, he learned in Lubavitch. He was embarrassed to see the Rebbe. But the Rebbe stayed in a certain place, a certain hotel, and he would have to walk through the hotel on his way to work. From the place where he lived to the place he worked, you have to go through the hotel. But he was afraid to do that because if he's going to go through, he may want to go in. And he was embarrassed to go in. So he would go the long way around. One day he decided he has a neitzah. He's going to put on a pair of short pants. They tell now the story that the Beil said, and he put on a pair of white short pants. The Beil didn't say white short pants. The Beil didn't go into colors. The Beil said, kurze Hosen, short pants. So he puts on a pair of short pants, and now he doesn't have to go through because he figured if he's wearing short pants, he's not going to go into the Rebbe with kurze Hosen, with short pants. So there's not a question. So now he can go the regular way, passes the Rebbe's house. Past the Rebbe's house. And so he does. He passes the Rebbe's house, goes through a few steps, and his heart doesn't let him go further. He has to go in to see the Rebbe. He went back home, the Beil said, und tonget on a paar lange Hosen, and he put on the long pants, and he went to the Rebbe's house, and he saw the Rebbe. As soon as he walked in, the Rebbe said to him these words, Iche, men dereitzach, men dereitzach, men zetzach. Translated into English, that means Iche, we circle, and we meet. It's not the same as in Yiddish, but that's more or less the story. Now, there's a certain dichotomy, we said, between the Parsha and the Haftarah. A dichotomy only in that we should understand exactly what is happening. But the Rebbe says that there's no real dichotomy here. We see from the Parsha, we also see the greatness of Yehuda. Although in the Haftarah it says clearly, V'avdi David nosei aleim le'elom, that Yehuda has the upper hand, and the king is going to be from Yehuda, not from Yisrael, David HaMelech. Nevertheless, the Rebbe says that if we pay attention, we see it even in the Parsha. And although the Parsha starts, Vayigash Elov Yehuda. Yehuda is the one who came to Yosef, not Yosef to Yehuda. So it would say that Yosef has the upper hand. Says the Rebbe, number one, Vayigash Elov Yehuda. Yehuda went over to Yosef. Yosef was the prime minister. The one right underneath Pare. And everybody was afraid of him. Now, Yehuda doesn't say that Yehuda called Yosef's secretary and he made an appointment to speak to him. Yehuda went straight over to him. That already shows us the strength, the spiritual strength of Yehuda. Yehuda was a guest here in a country that doesn't like him. He was Me'eretz Ha'ivrim, he was from Israel. Now he's in Mitzrayim, he's not in his own land. And he's up against the ruler, the prime minister of the land. Nevertheless, Yehuda did not wait to make an appointment. He went straight up to Yehuda, to Yosef. Not only that, Rashi says, he said to him, Yikonsu dvorai be'oznecho. Now, Mr. Prime Minister, you are going to listen to what I have to say. And you know very well that when you start with this sentence, that means he's going to say things that the Prime Minister is not going to be happy with. And to prove it, he says, and please, Mr. Prime Minister, do not be angry with me. You only say that when you're going to say things that are going to get him angry. Otherwise, you don't say it. Like you say it with all due respect. So you know you're going to say something that a person may be offended. But Yehuda says, remember, do not become angry because you could become angry. And Rashi says, from here you see that he spoke to him hard words. Indeed, he did. And he says to him, you're just lefari. I want to remind you something, Mr. Prime Minister, that I'm not sure that you remember. But it already happened once, that one of your predecessors, Pare, detained my grandmother, her name was Soro, for one night. And you know what kind of problems he had because of that, Mr. Prime Minister? You are going to have the same problems if you detain Binyamin. Not only that, he said to him, you're just like Polly. Polly promises and he doesn't do. And what about you? And he asked him, I want to ask you a question. You said that we should bring you our brother, V'osimo Eini Olov, and I'm going to put my eye on him. So Yehuda asked him, V'chizuhi simasayin she'omalto? This is how you put an eye on somebody in this country? You arrest him? You say you want to put your eye. This is how you put your eye? Sounds like communist Russia. This is how you put your eye on someone? Not only that, Yehuda says to him, Adeni sholas avod of lemer, hayesh lachem of eoch. You asked us, do you have a father? Do you have a brother? Mr. Prime Minister, this question was out of place. You were completely out of order. We didn't come here for a shidduch. We have news for you. We don't want to marry your daughter. And we don't want you to marry our daughter. We don't want a shidduch with you. By a shidduch, you asked who was the father and who was the mother and who was the grandfather and who was the grandmother. You asked all kinds of questions. We were not here to do a shidduch with you. So why did you ask us whether we have a father or a brother? Mr. Prime Minister, you should have asked us two questions. Number one, what do you want to buy? Do you want to buy wheat? Do you want to buy flour? Do you want to buy spelt? Tell us what you want to buy. That's the question you should have asked. The second question you should have asked, how are you going to pay? Are you going to pay in gold? Are you going to pay in silver? Are you going to pay in copper? Are you going to pay in commodities? This is what should have happened. This is a business transaction between us. This is not a family transaction, and this is not a shidduch. We don't want your daughter, and we don't want to give you our daughter, and we don't want you to marry our daughter. We want nothing of that kind. This is a purely business transaction, so why are you asking us stories? Hayesh lachem ov, do you have a father? Do you have a brother? This is not what we came about. And at the end it says to him, Kikomecha kefali. You're going to have the same end as Pali if you get me angry. So therefore you see here that Yehuda, although he was at a tremendous disadvantage, he is up against the strongest man in the world, basically. Pali was the one who was ruling. Yosef was Shalit. Yosef was the ruler. And nevertheless, so now we understand that even in the Padishah, there's no dichotomy here. Even in the Padishah, Yehuda had the upper hand. This is what the Rebbe says concerning our Padishah and concerning the Anhoga of a Jew, even when he was in Golus, in a strange land. Even when he was in Golus and Yosef was the ruler, Yehuda acted like a real Jew, with Jewish pride, with Gein Yankiv and Gein Yisrael. And with this, the Rebbe answers, Yankiv wanted a yeshiva. Who did he send to make the yeshiva? It says in the Pasuk, Ves Yehuda shalach lefonov El Yosef. He sent Yehuda. Lehelis lefonov Geshno. She said he wanted a yeshiva, a base ulfono. And the question is, if Yankiv wanted a yeshiva, he could have sent a message to Yosef and say, Yosaleh, ich will a yeshiva. I need a yeshiva. And there would have been no problem. For a yeshiva, you need a budget. It's not a problem. Yosef would call Abdul, the Minister of Education, or whatever his name was, and he would say to him, I need a budget for this yeshiva, and take care of it immediately, and don't give me any problems, if you know it's good for you. And if you need a place for everybody, the housing minister, Mustafa, was one of Yosef's workers, and he would call in Mustafa, and he would tell him, this is what you do. I have 70 people coming, and these 70 need this and this many apartments in nice places, and it would have gotten done. You need transportation. Yosef would call Mohammed, the minister of transportation. He would give you all the transportation you needed. all the horses or all the donkeys, whatever he needed, in a moment. But Yankov didn't send the message to Yosef. Yankov sent the message to Yehuda. The Rosh Yeshiva is going to be Yehuda. Why? Because I need a Jew that has this kind of strength. I need a Jew that can stand up to the ruler of the world on the other side and speak to him the right way, with Gein Yankov and Gein Yisrael, with Jewish pride. That's what Yankov wanted, and that's why he sent Yehuda. And that's how we understand in the Haftarah, V'Dovid Avdi, although there are many other tribes besides Yehuda. Yehuda is only one tribe, but the king over everybody is going to be from Yehuda. V'Dovid Avdi Nosi Alehem Le'elam. And the message is a very clear one. We are looking for Netzer, a grandson from the tribe of Yehuda, Mashiach, to be in this Gala, to reveal himself and to take us out of Golus. So it's the strength of Yehuda that is going to lead the way to the Gula Ha'amiti Tzvi Shlema. Especially in our generation, we're the last generation of Golus, the first generation of Mashiach. And now, a grandson of the tribe of Yehuda, the David Avdi Nosi Aleim Le'elam forever, Melech HaMashiach coming from Yehuda, will be in this Gala and will take us out of Golus. Everyone together. Gesundheit und Freilichkeit. ובעגולו דידנו, ושמחה ובטוב לבובו, וטבע נירה והניגלה, ולמטה מעשרות טפוחים, ובחסד וברחמים, ותקף ומיד ממש.